So our next topic has to do with kind of the insurance industry, but also my take on some of the dynamics based on my experience. And I have some, personal biases about these issues and personal anger about these issues because of what my clients have gone through and the industries, etc. But let's set that aside, all right? So this isn't about being righteous or overly polarizing, but let's just take a look at what the burden of proof is on a personal injury claim and why the insurance industry applies things the way they do. Burden of proof. Who has the burden of proof of showing who was at fault? The injured person does. Okay. Who has the burden of proof of showing if their window was broken in their house by a neighbor? Who has the burden of proof showing that the neighbor broke the window? Well, the person with the broken window. Okay. Who has the burden of proof in showing the harms and proving that the negligence caused these harms? The injured person does. And what does that mean, the burden of proof? Well, under the civil system, civil justice, not criminal cases, but civil cases, the burden of proof is on a more probable than not basis. And frequently you may have seen illustrations where the scales of justice show a certain balancing, things like that. But what we know from experience is if you go into a courtroom, judges, lawyers, jurors, they have emotional decisions that they're about to make. It's not always based on the facts. It's not always based on the evidence. So you have to be really vigilant about making sure you have the evidence and that you're organizing it and presenting it in a way that shows the negligence caused the harm. Okay? Now, here's my take on the insurance industry. They get the premiums on the front end. They want to delay paying benefits, paying claims as long as possible. They want to pay as little as possible. It's pure economics. I used to think it was personal, and it just got my whole Marine Corps warrior heart revved all the time. I mean, I just lived on adrenaline for decades. And then I was in a conference room taking a deposition. I was there early. No one was there but me. I pulled a claims manual off their shelf in their library, and there it was. Blame the injured person. Deny that it happened. Deny there was any causation. If they say they were injured, argue they weren't, or they weren't injured as bad as they say, and in fact, they suffer from a pre-existing condition, the natural progression of which blah, blah, blah. So what's the industry built on? Denial, delay, distraction, kind of the D's. So that's my bias. But remember, the evidence requires the burden of proof to be met by the injured party. They have to prove negligence caused the harm. And that applies to every kind of personal injury claim. Hope that helps.